Skyrim. A game that places you within a sandbox universe with all the tools to then go out and find your own fun should you desire it. Tools that have spawned three kinds of players. The immersion gamer might turn on survival mode to see how long they can live up in the mountains. The adventure gamer might become Dragonborn and live up to the namesake. Then there's players like me who just like to mess around and see what they can get away with. For example, one of my personal favourite things to do, other than arriving at Castle Volkihar and speaking to the human male cattle, is then go and speak to the human female cattle. Nay, I jest. Personally, I like messing with magic. There was once a bug which was particularly popular on consoles where you could get the spell Vampiric Grip, which is normally only available in Vampire Lord form, to persist through to your human form. This was how I had fun on the PS3 version back in the yee ass times. Sadly, I'm unable to replicate this bug on PC at this time. Whether that's to do with the unofficial patch, the Anniversary Edition, whatever, and to the astute PC gamer, they might see console commands as their saving grace. But I dare not spit in the face of Todd in this fashion. I play the game only as he is intended. With some minor modifications. There's a mod that applies the effects of Vampiric Grip to the telekinesis spell, and for the longest time, chucking my companion forth like a Pokemon was my favourite playstyle. But out there, deep down in Skyrim, there's something darker, more sinister, more powerful. A set of spells within Skyrim available in the base game without mods that allow you to essentially become Thanos in possession of the Reality Stone. Spells that allow you to become so ridiculously OP that you may as well be God Emperor Skyrim himself. Spells to make a build that'll allow you to be a silent assassin, an immovable force, a god of space and time, and simultaneously also really low effort and lazy, which is perfect for a slob like me. To become God Emperor Skyrim himself, we must first create a suitable avatar, the perfect body for the perfect being. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Someone like this already exists within Skyrim, but in my opinion, Norbzeem is merely a near-perfect template. We shall make him more perfecter. There he is in all his splendor, in all his glory. Norbzeem after absorbing Android 18. Norbzeem after chewing 5 gum. Norbzeem after going to the Cloud District. We must cast away the mortal shackles of earthly Norbzeem and embrace Dr. Norbzeem PhD, a new name for a new god. Not all of the spells we'll need will be available at the start, but some of them are, and first we'll need money to purchase them. So we're going to steal this horse unseen and ride past the stable master, who will look at us, completely incapable of doing anything about it, because he has no proof we stole his horse which we are currently sitting on in front of him. We ride to Riverwood where we'll pick up this axe, and press E to chop this wood because it's the form of earning wealth with the least effort. For me anyway, not for Dr. Norbzeem PhD. I can only imagine the kind of pain his body is going through right now. We sell our timber and make way for Solitude where we experience the beheading. It's pretty heavy stuff. And purchase ourselves the perfect clothes. We are one step closer to greatness. Even the ladies can't stop talking to us.
Welcome to the center of the world. Or at least my brother Eriker's world.
Let me just drop everything to help you. I don't
Have you met my dear
really.
brother Eriker? The man's as trustworthy as a Khajiit
I can help with purchases,
goldmonger.
but if you've come to talk, see my sister. She's the one who gets on with people.
Speak.
It's her one virtue.
We squeak these cheeks on down to the Blue Palace, where we purchase Clairvoyance, Fury, Soul Trap, and Muffle from Sybil Stentor. As a quick test, we're now going to simply cast Clairvoyance and fast travel to Whiterun and back again. As you can see, this has leveled us up, and our illusion skill is now 22 up from 15. Of course, I always knew this was going to happen, but with how Skyrim gets patches every now and then that completely break existing systems, a good doctor must always test the theory before acting, and Dr. Norbzeem PhD is a good doctor. I pick up the Mage Stone outside Riverwood, make a quick detour to Redwater Den, pretend to be a skooma addict to get inside, make our way through, pick up the telekinesis spellbook, absolutely do not panic at all, and leave in a very cool, calm, and controlled manner. We are now in possession of 2 very important spells that will allow Dr. Norbzeem PhD to very rapidly ascend to godhood: Clairvoyance and Telekinesis. Now, as you know, being in possession of spell tomes isn't the only thing that's required to get good. To truly get good, we have to put in the hard work to get there. The blood, sweat, and tears. Well, with 10 minutes of casting Clairvoyance and fast traveling from Markarth to Riften, we reach level 71 Illusion, which is where we want to be to unlock the Quiet Casting perk. I've used this perk in my videos before, but basically any build that revolves around subterfuge, magic, and laziness absolutely has to have this. A demonstration is in order. As you can see, we've casted Fury on a bandit and now they are mercilessly killing one another. Some of them may have been friends for years, some of them might even be family. All the while I am nowhere near the battlefield, standing here doing nothing. Because Skyrim is a very mental health positive place, even if you cast Fury on the last bandit, they'll only attack you, because it's impossible for them to hate themselves, unlike it is for us in real life. They'll still absolutely get stuck on a rock though. though. Anyway, you all know how Fury works, but why we're here is twofold. I'm not just traveling from bandit camp to remind bandits that man is made in Norbzeem's image. I'm here to warp their realities into killing themselves, while I take all of the stuff to sell for wealth. We go to Dragon's Reach, where it seems this damnable conflict has claimed everyone's passions of late. But me, I prefer my books and my spells. Namely calm and fear. With these two, we have completed the trifecta of reality-altering spells. 1 minute a bandit wants to cave your head in, and the next they are calm, maybe confused. And we watch on in awe, while Ulfa the blind bandit kicks the snot out of a battle mage. And this guy who hasn't even had a spell cast on him, walks around deliriously looking for a man who is maybe 5 feet in front of him. It is deeply amusing to see a group of hardened bandits calmly walking over the corpses of their brothers in arms, getting shot by their furious comrades. The bandit leader could easily curb stomp us, but he won't because upon getting up here, he feels a calm, serene breeze blow over his mohawked head. But then also immense fear.
No more! I yield! I yield!
With my father's last words, he told me that I was his greatest disappointment, that I didn't have the heart to follow my dreams. But now here I am standing, and I'm going to face my fears head on. With this great sword I'm going to cut through these doubts and lay to waste the memory that has tainted my...
Mercy!
And for me, the absolute best thing about these set of spells is the absolute lack of accountability that comes with playing this way. For example, once I'd realized that it would be much safer to simply farm money away from bandit camps, I started to pick on Whiterun townsfolk. I'd get the town's guard angry and they'd slaughter each other. Then I'd calm them down and loot them. In plain eyeshot of them, I'd loot the bodies, dump them in the water, and then walk inside the main castle. Then proceed to blast the Jarl's personal entourage from up in the rafters. Unfortunately, even though no one saw me do this, Todd snitches on me and my reputation within Whiterun tanks, meaning we have to skip town. But there's an easy solution to this. The solution is to simply stand like a statue in the streets of solitude for 7 days and 7 nights, where the townsfolk know it's best not to ask Dr. Norbzeem PhD why he's doing this and why his eyes are separating over time. With some decent wealth saved up and a few levels under our belt, it is now time to travel to the Mage's College in Winterhold, where there are vendors guaranteed to give us some of the higher level spells. Pharrelda challenges us to cast a fear spell, and that's really fortunate because it's like one of the 3 spells I know. I cast these on her. She may appear immune to these spells, but I can assure you she's going through emotional turmoil on the inside right now. Mirabelle Irvin's supposed to give us a tour of the college, but she is mid-conversation with Arcano. Dr. Norbzeem PhD is a busy man, so we shoulder charge them both to end their dialogue. Then, as the tour begins, I'm immediately bored and I cast Fury on the headmaster. Of course, to absolutely no consequence, because school is a lawless hellhole, just like in real life. Watching the headmaster fistfight this Atronach, I gather and mentally prepare myself for the 10-minute RP walk around the college, only to follow Mirabelle to a chair where she sits down to have a drink, and I come to realize that I've completely broken her and the quest cannot progress. On the upside, I find Drevis Nalorin, the vendor I'm looking for, to purchase the spell tome Invisibility from him. That's just one more spell in our repertoire. We're very rapidly approaching the point where I can properly demonstrate what this build can do, but then I get distracted. You see, I suffer from a condition called ADDNO, which stands for Attention Deficit Disorder Normal. In short, I have trouble doing anything and being focused. Being distracted is one thing, but being distracted and then spending hours building an intricate apparatus by which to torture friendly NPCs in video games is another thing. In this instance, I went to Morthal to purchase a Black Soul Gem. Noticed my Black Soul Gem brother over a corpse. I cast Calm on him. He has not calmed down. Then I go over to Whiterun.
I work with my mother to sell fruits and vegetables.
Some beer.
Did you know there are some fruits that actually grow better? Did you know there are some fruits that... Oh, what happened? I work with my mother to sell fruits and vegetables.
I feel like this isn't particularly all that bad, as far as getting sidetracked goes. I've seen videos of people running modded unarmed builds with the express purpose of beating up specifically children in Skyrim. Now that's unhinged. Generally speaking, I don't think it's all that bad to trap your target's soul within a stone forever. Then hide in a bush to study the widow's movements. Find out where she spends her nights. And then stand in the doorway while she sleeps. Because in context, the moment she feels my presence, the hairs on her neck stand up, her eyes spring open, and she says the following.
Are you married?
is from this love that we
Well,
learn
I am
life
married
lived
now.
alone.
As celebration, I go to the Cloud District, sit up in the rafters and blast the people below with fury spells from the comfort of the shadows. Personally, my favorite part is when Irilith gets turned to ash by Jarl Balgruuf. Anyway, there's a really important reason we're here. We quickly loot the corpses, sell as much of the plunder as we can to Farengar, who concludes there's no connection between the sudden deaths of the Whiterun Guardsmen and Dr. Norbzeem PhD selling their belongings to him. We do what we came here to do and collect the silver platters in the hall, leave Dragon's Reach, get moderately sidetracked on our way out of town, speak to the boat captain in Windhelm, and sail over to Solstheim. We run a short way south to Coldboner Wheelbarrow and give 1,000 gold to this sly fellow right here. But this isn't charity. You see, this bit of investment allows Rayless to hire a team who will throw their lives away digging out the ash over this burial chamber, where inside we'll find a black book of filament and filigree. But first he must assemble a team to do so. So we stand here for 7 days and 7 nights, our eyes steadily separating over time, while he scours various age 12 plus Minecraft Discord servers for the perfect dig team. Once assembled, we wait again for the first stage of the dig to complete, and we can enter the barrow. Now what we're going to do here is cast Muffle and Invisibility, and haphazardly make our way around the barrow's cursed undead protectors, chucking the skull off this pressure plate, and make our way into the next chamber completely unseen. A master of stealth and subterfuge. We are then going to drop our silver platter we picked up in Dragon's Reach, hold it up against this wall, and slam our face into it repeatedly. This makes a massive amount of noise. It's clear in the lore the Drugged Deathlord can hear the clattering of our face against the plate and the wall, but at this stage he is much too afraid to investigate. Anyway, with one big slam, our face warps through the plate and the wall, and now we're out of bounds. We're now on the outside of normal reality, and have entered something I like to call Todd space. Not all that hard to do, it's quite elementary really. Next we'll be running along this wafer of remaining world space and land on this corner right here, phasing through these solid objects into this chamber with all our might. Then we'll sink through the floor near the word wall like a globule of pitch, and position ourselves above a corridor like so. We vanish a little bit, but this is simply Todd space trying to take away our PhD. However, if you trust in the tertiary education, you'll end up here, where we can now pick up the Black Book, having skipped hours of quests and over 11,000 gold in excavation spending. I pick up the book, and now Dr. Norbzeem PhD finds himself in the eldritch realm of student debt, where the Daedric god Hermaeus Mora reminds us that we owe a casual $200,000 plus compounding interest, which we'll be paying off for the rest of our lives. We cast Muffle and Invisibility, and effortlessly glide our way through to the other end, where we read the Black Book of Filaments and Filigree. We're presented with a choice of 3 powers. What we want to select is the Secret of Arcana, which is the sole reason we're here, and this returns us to the surface. Now what we're going to do next with this power is activate it, then grab an object with telekinesis, and while holding that button down, we're going to open the map and fast travel to the other side. This instantly levels our alteration to 100. This works with any magic spell that you can channel, allowing you to level to 100 in almost any magical skill tree in the game. But we're choosing alteration specifically because the spells available to us at high levels are actually just straight up hilarious. I travel to the College of Winterhold again, where I speak to Tolfdir, who usually sells the alteration spells. But because I haven't attended the first class, he's locked me out of purchasing anything from him. This I find greatly upsetting. But there's a great strategy for speeding things up without having to take the class. You see, I cast Frenzy, which is the upgraded Fury, on all the people in the room, which causes a massive fight. See, the end goal here is to not take the class, because the class cannot happen if the students are all dead.
Yes, well, after the unfortunate incident that occurred, I think it's best if we just move on.
I purchased Paralyze from Tolfdir, which will only appear in his inventory if you're at Alteration 75 and above, and we've collected all the spells we need in order to become God Emperor Skyrim. As a demonstration of why Paralysis is important, it basically prevents the final person still standing after casting Fury on everyone from being able to get to you. Sure, you can cast Calm, but Paralysis is just a bit more embarrassing, far more befitting of a spellcaster this lazy and this godly. A spellcaster such as one that settles all their problems by way of punching the paralyzed to death with your bare hands. I can think of few more satisfying ways of gaining mastery over reality than by banishing free will, and then dominating the conscious yet unmoving enemy in front of you, like crushing an ant in the palm of your hand. So devastating is this build that once you've had your way with whoever you wish, you simply cast Calm on them and walk away, moving on to the next. To break it down, this is how it works. With silent casting, the game doesn't recognize you as the instigator of combat, so when your furious target turns around, notices you, and attacks you, they have initiated combat and are the wrongful party, then allowing you to hashtag defend yourself in any manner you see fit, without the threat of fine or intervention by the town guards. You can use a weapon if you wish. I just find it more fitting to paralyze them and then slowly beat them to death with our soft magic caster hands. That's if you even decide to intervene full stop, once you've absolutely turned their world inside out and led them down a path of total disrepair. Casting Frenzy into a crowd of people in Solitude, for example, results in a massive brawl that will not end for 60 seconds, leading to massive destruction basically across the board, and almost always concluding in the most comical way imaginable.
Oh no. What happened here?
Ah! Dead body!
Wanderer like you must have plenty of tales to tell. But I'm afraid I'm too busy to hear them.
The applications for this are really limitless. You commit no crime, and everyone around you kills themselves. It's a win-win at every turn. To the point where I am now Dr. Jarl Norbzeem PhD. I rule solitude. There is not a moment where I am somewhere and the mischief doesn't follow. But I acknowledge that what I'm showing you is a series of playful escapades in town, and I want to show you that this build can be applied to legitimate quests in Skyrim. And so I endeavor to showcase this by yet again coaxing Skyrim's most hilarious faction to mess with, the Dork Bortherhood, by inflicting fury on Constance and watching on as she punches this child, and then ends Grelod with a left hook to the temple. Now we simply have to wait around until the Dork Bortherhood realize I've killed the target and decide to send me a letter via courier. I wandered the wilderness. I completed some quests. I joined the Vampires in the Dawnguard DLC because at the time I thought I could replicate the bug where I had vampiric grip outside of vampire form. When I realized this doesn't work, I revert the save game and very rapidly level pickpocketing to 100 by giving money to a pickpocket skill teacher, and then pickpocketing the money back until 75. Then traveling to Markarth where I wait for everyone to fall asleep, and then take all of their belongings.
Outsiders.
At 100 pickpocketing, I take the perfect touch perk, which allows me to sensually undress my target without their knowledge. Getting to pickpocketing 100 takes maybe 40 real minutes, which isn't really that much when you think about what it takes to normally get a skill to 100. And it's about this time right here, where I'm rubbing an oily salmon steak up on Thonar's body, that I realize I haven't spoken to Aventus Aretino yet, which is why the courier hasn't found me to start the Dork Bortherhood quest. So I speak to Aventus, or rather he speaks to the back of Dr. Jarl Norbzeem PhD's head. I rub this human heart he left on the floor all up in his face.
When I grow up, I'm going to be an assassin.
I go to sleep in Whiterun, and I'm very relieved to see I awaken feeling fully rested after being kidnapped and brought to this abandoned shack. I stand before Astrid, cast invisibility. This for her doesn't compute, and I completely undress her and she notices nothing. I poke her with her own knife a few times until she dies and slides behind the furniture against this wall. No one kidnaps a well-rested Dr. Jarl Norbzeem PhD. I speak to Commander Maro, or rather, he speaks to the back of Dr. Jarl Norbzeem PhD's head, and asks me to exterminate the Dork Bortherhood. I then cast Frenzy and these two fight before I head out. These people have no idea the righteous fury that is about to rain down upon them.
Where are you? Well, well, it's raw meat. Oh, my beautiful wife is done. Ah, don't worry. We all like to break the rules sometimes. Just see this.
There we have it. The most grossly incandescent build of the lot. Virtually untouchable if you play your cards right. And perfect for all those people out there that just that play games but not actually playing them. I pull out Nazim's soul gem. I didn't really have a plan for this, so I just rub it all up Arnbjorn's crotch and then shove it as far up his ass as Todd Howard allows me to do so, without the assistance of things like Lover's Lab mods. I hand the quest in to Commander Maro. He cannot believe his eyes. Obviously, I strip these two completely naked and watch them fight again, only this time to the death, in only their loincloth. It's a monumentous occasion, so naturally it means I must be seated on my throne. Very good, Dr. Jarl Norbzeem PhD. Very good. A huge thank you to the patrons who helped me make this happen. If I am Dr. Norbzeem PhD, then it is you who are the silver platters that I smash my face against. Thank you ever so much for your support. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, leave us a comment about the most embarrassing way that you eliminate NPCs, and then join the Discord from the link in the description and post the clips or screenshots there. Of course, if you know anyone who might like this video, please share it with them. And the most important thing is, stay safe out there, honey. Big kissies. Mwah.